What's happening, Kyle Postlewaite, aka Malcare here at Big Kitty Games. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Had a long weekend here. Got some new bugs on the bug tracker. Didn't take a look at last week. Tuesday morning here, thought I'd take a look at them. Do want to push this stuff that I've been working on. Probably move back to production, honestly. Production branch. So let's do a little cleanup before we get into that, because I know there's actually some stuff in here that doesn't need to be in here. Let's see, I should do it over here so you can see it. In Unity, the resources folder is a special folder. Anything that's in here will get carried over with the build, whether you're using it or not. Now that's useful for certain things, but like some of this stuff I'm actually not even using, so I should really get rid of some of this. These sound files aren't a big deal, but let me just look real quick, see what ones I am actually using. Man, the allergies are just all of a sudden hitting me. Nose and eyes and everything. Forest Woodland Loop 2 I am using, but that means I'm not using these guys. Can I do the good old select dependencies? Does that work? I don't think it does. No. Anyway, I'm pretty sure if I'm using one of these... Well, this one's using 3. 2, 2, 3. I think the 3 was a mistake there, though. But in any case, we'll fix that. 大丈夫だった。目痛い。Spring Rain Loop 2 is being used. Heavy Rain is Heavy Rain. So 1, 3, 4, 5 we don't need. And Beach Rippling Loop I'm not using. And there's kind of no reason for these to be here anyway. But, you know, not a big deal. This Footsteps, I'm definitely not using all of those, but they're super tiny. Those I believe I'm using, probably not all of them. Okay, more importantly though, it's going to be some of these trees I'm looking for. Sorry for having to blow my nose on the microphone there. The sun is shining. We're going to be getting pollen today. I guess I don't have trees in here. I was thinking there might be a bunch of speed trees in here that I wasn't using anymore, that I wanted to make sure I got out as soon as possible. Rest of this looks pretty good though. these shouldn't be in here. What's happening, StopNet? Not sure why these are in here. Let's move them. Lioness, lion, elephant, doe, boar, stag. Demons, I think I do pull out of there. Certainly don't need those guys, though. Okay, well, less cluttered than I was thinking, but anyway. I still think it's probably adding a bunch of speed tree stuff that I would like to get rid of. Where are those? I think they're under flora. No. We've stopped using most of these trees. Still have lemon and orange. Red maple I'm not sure about. White oak we're not using. I'm just gonna get rid of them. What does the red oak look like? Yeah, we're not using you either. But where are the actual files?つけたばっかりですよ。あこつけないから。I just don't remember where the folder is. I had it under third party. Okay, so this is it, full of tons of stuff in here. Azalea, I'm not using you, correct? Yeah, it's the bushes. None of this. Douglas fir, European aspen. Some of this is still being used in the swamp, so I'm going to turn those off. Spruce, not going to be using. Maple, spruce, mangrove is in the swamp. Fern, rock fern, I'm not using you anymore. I have replaced you with more performant ferns. Palms, cacti, and white oak. Some of these, black gum, blue spruce. I'd like to get rid of more of these. To be honest. I've not quite finished getting rid of all of them. Still using orange, still using lemon. Might have to for a while. Maple, spruce, no. Cacti, no. White oak, no. Okay. So that'll clean up the project size quite a bit there. Let me just do a quick run. See if I spot anything weird immediately. Or an error pops up. Tree prefab at index missing. Okay, that makes sense. That would be our manager that controls what gets spawned. Hmm. It's interesting. It would call it prior to the game even starting. Oh, you know what? I bet that's the start scene, isn't it? The start scene has some trees in it too. We can easily replace those. Where is the actual terrain at? There it is. So this little opening scene here, I'll bet, yeah, there used to be more trees there. Excuse me a second. Ma! What kind of trees do we want to put in here? Well, we've got all our new grassland trees. Let's just plop some of those in there. I've actually wanted to do this for quite a while. These, and I'd like to go zoom a little better there. I'd like to get rid of this grass too, to be honest. That would require I set up Vegetation Studio in here, though. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and do that just yet. But I think for a quick fix, I can just replace these trees. So let's grab our currently, where did we put them again? I need to organize my trees better. Got them in a few different places. It's not the firs, it's not the swamp trees. I've got links to them though here. It's the beach trees that don't live on the beach. They're just, that's what they're called. So we want to select this terrain, grab the tree missing, edit it, and let's just put number 1 in there. You can see a couple showed up there. And number 2. Got some over here. Let's go ahead and change this one. That's an orange tree for whatever reason. Number 3. And now our scene has some trees in it again. Yeah, that's kind of the point of the scene, though, to look sort of open and framed, and you got stuff in the distance to look at. Let's take a peek at it. Are they not moving at all, or is it just me? Look like they're not moving at all. Maybe I have the wind down to almost nothing. Oh, there's still Should have been more. I don't think the rest of these terrains have any need for trees. Do they? We can add them in there. I think some of these are actually floating on the ground, as they have been for like 2 years, just because I didn't want to come in here and spend the time to replace them. But yeah, that's distant enough that I'm not actually using those. So let's just remove those. This one too is way too far off, doesn't need any trees. Likewise. I might have to take an Allegra here today or something. It's getting real. Air's gone, trees are spawning. I don't think they're moving though at all. I wanted to look at that real quick. Look at the wind settings. I don't think it's actually using those. And I think they probably are moving. Let's go look at them up close. They use a special shader-based wind. Oh, maybe not. They look pretty stiff. Which I am not a master of. We're probably on LOD 1 or 2, but still should be making use of the same beach leaves shader here. Might have to actually read something on what's going on here. I mean, it's not bad, but we do want them to sway a little bit. They're so static right now. And the grass is ugly. The grass is moving, though. I wonder why the trees aren't moving. Not a big deal, though. Let's not worry about it much right now. Just load it up once more here. Make sure our little test that we were doing there was all clear. Not client, single player. Shouldn't be using those in game anymore, though. We were in the start. I forgot about that. Yeah, no particular errors. Head back to the grass where most of those were being used in the past. We should be fine. So, now that things have cleaned up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and empty my recycle bin, just because that feels good. And yeah, they're moving here. Not moving in runtime for some reason, though. Wonder why that is. Anyway, let's go ahead and push this stuff into version control and get on to bug fixing. Hey, Giddy. 意味わかんない。意味わかんない。行ってみたいって言ったことあるよ。今日言ってみたことはない。ね。寒くねえし。まだ9時半だよ。My wife says she's cold. 寒くないよ。温まるよ。今日18とかだよ。Supposed to get nice and warm today. 18 Celsius. I'm bad at Fahrenheit anymore. Clicked on my start button, but it's not loading. There it goes. 18, yeah. Looks like a nice week. Saturday, 12. That's not very good. 18 would be nice today, though. So this is lots of new trees, rocks, all kinds of stuff. I'm pushing into version control for the first time. So it's going to be a big push. We'll just see new trees, colors, rocks, etc. Fishies. Haven't put the fishies in yet, but they're there. Um, 18C in F would be 64. 65. Supposed to be today, would be nice. It's my niece's birthday, but where she lives, it's tomorrow. Pretty sure I know what this is. We'll just take a peek at it anyway. This is gonna... No, it already finished. Alright, never mind. I thought that was gonna take longer. So, let's switch to production. I updated Unity somewhere here. I think I'm going to close that. Hopefully that didn't just screw a whole bunch of stuff up. Should have done that before pushing the branch. How I got into it was just motivation. How I first started was programming. I went straight into programming and Unity. Unity's got a really good tutorial called the Rollerball tutorial, where it teaches you the basics of physics, the Unity physics engine. Ma. Oh. Well, now it's gonna. Are you gonna just close? Are you fine with that? Okay, that's cool. That's what I wanted. Thought I might try to recompile and stuff there. 4.21. Yeah, it should be right. Yeah, okay. For me, it was really, it was Dungeon Siege 3 and Diablo 3 that I was really let down by. And that was a long history of games that you're like, ugh, why would you do that? There was always bad decisions being made in game development since its inception. But I was a big fan of Dungeon Siege 1 and 2. And then Dungeon Siege 3 was just garbage, like literal garbage. And, it wasn't a bad game. And Diablo 3 wasn't a bad game either, in and of themselves. And I've talked about this a number of times, but in and of themselves, they're games. They're good games. They're fine. But when you know that they came from 1 and then 2, and now there's number 3, compared to number 2, they were both just crap. And Dungeon Siege 3, it was just garbage compared to the first one. It had none of the core concepts that made Dungeon Siege 1 was really cool. And then they took all those concepts and expanded on them, and made a bunch of new stuff to add on top of it to make Dungeon Siege 2, and it was a huge success. People still play it today. And then they rewrote everything from scratch, got rid of all the core mechanics, ditched all of the character customization and everything, and made just a totally new game and called it Dungeon Siege 3 just to sell it. And it got terrible reviews, and people don't play it anymore. So I really wanted to get into design. That was always my thing, and that still is my thing. It's a bummer that I have to program this much, because really my heart lies in the design of the game. But I realized from day one that I needed to learn how to use Unity if I was going to do anything. So I just downloaded Unity and started with their tutorials. Back then they were a lot easier to navigate. Now they've got their whole Learn site, which is really bloated and really weird. But you can still find all the tutorials on there. It's you got to sift through a lot of stuff. But I just started with Unity and C# from day one, and that was 2012ish. I think it was like 2000 and probably about 2016, so like 4 years that I just learned and studied pretty much every day after work, after my day job. I'd come home and program and use Unity for like 3 or 4 hours pretty much every day. I was really into it for a long time. And ever since then, it's been 9 years now. I didn't know how to program before, but that's what I jumped into and had to learn. So I still don't know how to animate very well or model very well or any of that, because I have spent my time really focusing on how to make the game itself. It's not that difficult though. To get like 50% into C# is, 6 months. And then to get 60% into C# is like 3 years, And then you can't ever get 100% into it because it grows constantly, And a real master programmer can get up to like 90%. And that takes probably 15 years, of actual study and practice. But you don't need that kind of stuff to make good games. You can make good games with 50% knowledge, and you can get that in 6 months. Let's take a peek at this. I think what's going on here is that he is, well, that would have printed to the console. I thought it was terraforming. I went Solace Crafting only ever. That's all I ever did. Never bothered even trying 3D or 2D. I knew what I wanted to make from day one. You know, I didn't have everything worked out, but I knew I wanted to make, like, I think Conan Exiles and Empyrean and stuff was out back then. And I knew that I wanted to make a Minecraft, you know, survival RPG-ish game. And I actually started out doing voxel engines I did a lot of voxel engines. I can still write them from scratch. But ultimately I decided not to use voxels just because of how much performance they take and the lack of visual quality, you know, the chunky visuals that it turns out to be, even if you're using dual contour or any of that stuff, which I use for the caves and stuff. I use marching cubes. They look a lot better than the blocks, but it's still, you can't get very pretty. This is an interesting one. Yeah, I just never really had a thing for 2D. I actually have kind of a game that I work on every once in a while on the weekends. That's a space 2D or a 3D game. It's kind of a space version of Solace Crafting. And I started making that 3D thinking it would, or 2D, thinking it would be a little easier. But it really wasn't. It's just a whole nother universe. And I mean, it is a lot easier, don't get me wrong, but it's just not what I'm used to. And again, you lose out on so much visual quality. And it's 2.5x, like, kind of like a Stellaris. You know, you've got your fixed camera, and then there's 3D objects, but you don't actually fly a ship around in full 3D space, which was how I built it the first couple times, but it ends up not enough resources. Aren't I in creative? Am I not in creative? Doesn't say creative. Let's make it say creative. Should have thrown me into creative. And I would like to say that for screenshots, etc. Yeah, I'm just not as big a fan of 2D. I'm a big fan of RimWorld. That's a great game. I never liked the Don't Starve series. I never really figured those out. Yeah, I agree with that. Point in case, RimWorld. It looks like crap, you know, and I don't, mean anything bad about the game. Like, I just got done saying I love that game. It's a great game. But it looks like crap. you know, and that's okay because it's 2D and that's its kind of style, you know, and it works. It's fine. But yeah, when you do that in 3D, like a lot of people that like it's their first game, they've only been in game dev for 3 months, and they made like a Doom clone or something. You know, it's just really ugly 3D models, and it's really easy. It's a lot easier to make 3D look really bad. Client server host. That should do that, but I'm pretty sure I was in creative there, and the town should just let me build freely if I want to. If I'm in creative, construction clicked. If game settings.play mode is equal to creative, let's say if it's not creative, whoops, kitty bed just toppled. If it's not creative, and we don't have the resources. Yeah, RimWorld's a really good game. You can really crank the difficulty up on that to make it really hard. I tend to play on just like normal hardcore, so it auto saves, so you can't like go back and fix a problem. If like one of your people dies or gets shot or something, you gotta deal with it. And let's see. Placement helper, turn off, destroy, initiate. Should be in update here. Check snap positioning, I think is what I'm looking for. Place town building. Once again, we're going to do not enough resources check here. Let's turn that off for creative. If not, game settings. Oops. Play mode. So if we're not in creative, we're not positioning, we don't have enough resources, only then do we stop. That should let us now place stuff down freely in creative mode for testing purposes. I really should just test more in creative mode, so you don't have to do my cheats all the time. I think RimWorld's a really good testimony to the real fact that fun really trumps graphics, in my opinion. I know a lot of people, graphics are important, story is important, stuff like that, but RimWorld really doesn't have any of that. And, you know, it's a huge success, it's a great game. Just because it's fun. You know, it's the mechanics in it are solid, etc., etc. Not enough resources came up once more there. Place town building. Oh, I guess it would. It would go through. Well. Command place building. Is there one more check it's doing somewhere? Double check resources. There you have it. If not, game settings dot play mode is equal to game settings play mode creative. In Minecraft, I always felt that way too. Which makes it easier to make Minecraft clones. There's still a lot of people that do that. You know, and back in the day, that was all the rave, because Minecraft was such a ridiculous success. You know, they sold, it was like 3 billion to Microsoft after they sold hundreds of millions of copies. You know, so they made hundreds of millions of dollars, and then they sold the game itself for 3 billion. Microsoft said, we can still milk this for more than $3 billion. You know, just ridiculous successful. And so you look at the graphics for that, and, you know, people said, oh, I can do that. And everybody and their mom made a Minecraft game. But it's really those internal mechanics that make games like that fun. And those are actually more difficult than graphics for most people. That's what I hope. I believe my is game design. But it's actually pretty tough stuff. Tie things together, get them all worked nicely. Valheim did a really good job of that too. I think that's why they've had such success. You know, the game doesn't look amazing. It's not groundbreaking technology or anything, but their mechanics are really patterned out very nicely. Player progression stuff is really on point with that game. Spend construction resources. I think this is what we're looking for. Place building, yep. So if we are in creative mode, we don't want to do this. One more compile here. See my cat going nuts there. What are you doing? I never wanted to go for that cartoon look though either. That's a lot easier if you want to get into toon shading and what is it? I'm blanking out. That Monster Hunter game. That's not Monster Hunter. I can't remember the name. Anyway, it's got a real cartoon look to it, stuff like that. Much easier to model, much cheaper to get resources for stuff like that, and easier on your computer. So it's understandable why people go for that. Owner Malcare locked. That's no good. That is locked. So, how do we unlock those? Set the owner to be whoever placed this building. I don't think these need that. Furniture doesn't have an owner? Right, just the facilities. And let's go ahead and make them locked equals false. And we better write down these changes we make because I'm not going to remember them. We are still working on 7.2. This will be a hot fix for fixed town buildings, not building for free in creative. Fixed storehouse torches being marked as owned by Malcare and locked. And we'll just give it a check. Oh, nice. Thank you, sweet. Or art. I'll have to steal that save from you someday. Oh, still owner Malcare locked. So that didn't work. Player town building. If not is custom. Fill in hole between town buildings and floors. Which one's getting obstructed? Foundation or just the floor piece? Floor piece? I'll try that out. Let's see. What do I want here? Is custom should be marked true if we're getting to the storehouse. Which means this stuff should be firing. I'll just add a debug in here for now. Which should go through and find. We're looking at the game object. That's not what we want. We want the structure. Game object. That should work. If we are custom or if we are the storehouse. Okay. I think that is what we wanted. I'll go ahead and get rid of that debug for now. Those would be easy orders. Kind of the only problem we have is that build window getting cluttered. I should send that to my UI buddy. I'm gonna do that right now. I got a buddy that works in UI design for Microsoft. He offered to look at. This is, I mean, of course there's ways to improve this, but this isn't like, terrible. This, however, I think could use probably a lot more improvement. Let's say I select something. I'm going to send this to him right now. So I don't forget, mostly. Anyway, what were we doing? Trying to get our torches to belong to us. Belong to me now. I can pick them up. Okay, so that is fixed. That goes up here. Alright, I was going to look at that while we were talking about that. Buildings and floors don't always line up. Maybe if I built all platform at one time, but sometimes I don't. Can't attach wall torches in beta to prefab town buildings if that is what you're working on. Probably just shows up red, doesn't it? Let's make a storehouse. So let's do 1, 2, 3. Let's make a forager. Way to go up there. And then let's say we're trying to expand our stone foundations here. These guys look like they all match up fine. You're having trouble with the wood floor. Say I want to put this guy right here. Yeah. Yeah, I built this all using the snap, so it should all line up properly. If it's not lined up properly, it you know, might be obstructed. Are you not using snap? Oh, so you're saying like if you started you've got snap set up, but you went 1 or 2 out. Oops, yeah, I know what you mean. An exception has occurred, what? I clicked on the name here, and then it didn't clear, and I'm trying to close the UI, and it's freaking out. Destroy empty surroundings. Who's calling you? Player input 241, that's going to be escape. Building UI 134. Close UI. Destroy empty surroundings. We don't currently have anything selected. If building data current building area does not equal null. Destroy empty surroundings. Current structure. Interesting. So but yeah, you're saying you got Salud, Audrey. Welcome. Yeah, the snap goes every 1 meter, and each floor piece is 3 meters. So you're saying you've got 1 or 2 meters off, and you don't have a floor piece to fill in that gap properly? There's a half piece, but that'd be 1.5 meters. So yeah, you would want a 1 and a 2 meter, wouldn't you? I can do that. I'm just going to double check that I stopped this error from ever coming up again. That was annoying. Kept me from closing the window. I think there's a pretty specific series of events I had to go through there. I selected a building. I then went to select a new building and then clicked on this guy. That's another error. I clicked cancel and then I tried to close, so that's better now. This, however, is different. Rename structure gets called by another method, the button. But we will go ahead and say if building data dot current structure is equal to null, then we want you to return. Don't do any of that because there's nothing to rename. Where are you coming from, Audrey? Okay, that's not doing that anymore. So I can't bring up that error anyway. Fixed both of those. I don't really need to write that down in the... Yeah, we'll just, mark it. Fixed a couple of rare errors in the building UI. And let's move on. Yo. This is animations. We'll be working on that later this week. Can craft any rarity without spending skill points. So unlock light armor jacket, 3/5. So rare, select another crafting item, can make it 2 in that rarity. So I'm in rare boost. I thought I already fixed this. 7.2.4. Which we are running. I thought I did, but I didn't. Don't need that. Let's see. This is creative, so I have everything unlocked, so that's not helpful. Let's go back to single player. There was something I was reading that I didn't quite get. Did I just close it? What happened to that? Oh, I need to look at this too. Was that in... Discord? No. Yeah, I forget. I was looking at something earlier that I was thinking I'd ask Art about. Single player. Let's see, I'm pretty sure I learned something already on this guy. Leatherworking, yeah, I did leatherworking. Jacket up to rare. Okay, tailoring helmet. Let's do that instead. Tailoring armor. Helmet can go up to elite. And then if I switch, it should go back down to common. The armor was a little off there, wasn't it? Elite, is it just the display? Common gauntlets. That's just not updating immediately, looks like. So what are we talking about? Legendary thread boots. Light armor jacket to level 3/5 so I can make it rare. While crafting, I selected jacket, select rarity to rare. Select another crafting item, you can make it 2 in rare rarity, so I made rare boots without spending skill points in tailoring. Version 7.3. But then he shows a screenshot here where he's got them all unlocked to rare, or I guess uncommon. These are all rare. And here he's making legendary though. Because of the underwear? I'm a little confused. Seems to be working for me. I'm not in beta. I'm running 2.4 in the editor. Because yeah, I already fixed this specifically. Rarity legendary, and then he made rare boots. I don't see legendary boots, but he shouldn't be able to make rare boots, I guess is what he's saying. Unlocks common, or he's got uncommon unlocked, but was able to make rare boots somehow. That's sort of a complicated thing he's got going on. Here I've got uncommon. He got the rest of these. Let's just duplicate what he's doing here. 3, 2, 3, 3. I've already got 4 on my helmet, but I don't think that should matter. Is one of these like crossing over or looking it up improperly or something? 1, 2, 3, 3. Crafting, underwear, legendary. Go back to my boots. They go to uncommon. Not sure how he's doing this. Ended up with some rare boots. Or was it the water font that he went? Shouldn't matter. It's just when you click on it. Right. I don't see what he's doing that's different. He's saying, well, and he even shows it here though. He's got it to legendary somehow. There's maybe you have to like close the window and come back or something. There's just some like different way of doing it than what I'm doing. Get it to legendary. I mean, it's when you click on boots that it's supposed to refresh this, so I don't know how you could get what he's getting. As soon as I click boots, it should recalculate that. He said, another crafting item that you can make it to blah, 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 blah. I can make it legendary if I select recipe that don't must be unlocked and select it rarity to legendary. For example, bag, you can get up to legendary from the get-go. But again, as soon as you click over, it should refresh that. Simple, you can't increase. Maybe you go bag, simple. No, it goes right back to common. Boots. Surely it's not the carpets specifically. As soon as you click boot, it should go back. Not sure how he's doing that. He's playing in 7.3, which I'm currently not, but I haven't changed any of this at all. Let's give it a try though. He's got a screenshot to back it up, so hard to argue. It's probably just something like the way that the sequence that he's doing it is just a different sequence than what I'm used to doing. Other than that, I want to look at globes of water. This might just be a toggle I have to fix. You got it to work? Something specific to beta? Took big to legendary, then clicked on cloth helm and it didn't reset. You're in beta, aren't you? I didn't change anything in beta regarding crafting. recipe interfaces. Cats don't seem disturbed, whether I did or not. Sleeping in the sunshine. Oh yeah, it does it for me too. That's very strange. You know what? I bet I know what's going on. I made some fixes here. And here. And I have not merged these into beta yet. That's all that's going on. My bad. I've been working specifically on just the trees and stuff on the beta branch, and bug fixes specifically on the live branch. So I just haven't pushed this 7.2.3 stuff into there. I'll do that later today, along with what I did today and what I did over the weekend. So let's look at the globes of water. Let's see. Resolved. Already fixed this on non-beta. Just have to patch it into beta as well. We'll do so tonight. Thank you for the report. Nonetheless. Yeah, it's mostly just colors and then like what tree it's gonna pick to spawn somewhere. It's using the same spawn math primarily, not everywhere. That's actually one thing I kind of wanted to ask you about, Art, was I did change the desert giant big rocks spawning a bit. It looks like somebody has gotten... This might be a grassland rock too, but you know, there's the... I think this is the desert rocks. There's the big rocks, and then there's the grassland big rocks too. And those can really get in the way. I was thinking it might be a good idea to make these destructible. And that's not in the slightest realistic, because they're giant. But we could make them basic resources. Tier 0 zones and swamp. I didn't add anything to swamp. Something bleed in the swamp. What's up, John? Maybe not make them... basic resources, but we could harvestable rock, stone. We could mark them to not be rare. Stone, reward multiplier, and then set the minimum reward. No, this would, yeah, John wants a phase potion so you can run through rocks like this, which really isn't a bad idea. You know, like I was saying, the only thing that would be kind of disgusting is that when you'd get into it, it'd look like this. You know, you'd clip inside of it because they don't render the back face. And I could set up a shader to do that. It wouldn't be terrible, but that would be nice, kind of, if you could just run along the surface through everything, to be honest. These ones? Too big? I was just thinking for stuff like this, or, you know, if you find a nice spot you want to build one, maybe I could make it so that they have like 500 stone, so they're not as easy. You know, it's not a one-shot like the basic resources. You'd have to sit there and whack at it for a while. But if you do whack at it for long enough, it will actually go away. Yeah, it would be a one-shot for you still. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything that alters their size, unfortunately. Let's look at that. You're good, you're good, you're good. You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good. That would be procedural spawning. Procedural area. If there is a big rock, we're going to get down to find a location, spawn. If it's a tree, if it's not a tree, we're just going to instantiate. We're not going to give it a possible plus minus size, which is nice when you do. I could make that a setting on these prefabs. Procedural prefab, large decoration, desert, big rock, for example. Even these guys are marked as medium decorations. I do think it would be nice to be able to get rid of these, though, in any case. $70 points of enchanting, very nice. The only problem being, I think I'm gonna have to make a new script for this, because the remaining is going to be calculated Oh, it does use the minimum reward and the maximum reward. Okay. Well, in that case, I kind of wish I had named these a little different, but let's say this guy's got somewhere between 450 stone to 550 stone on him. It can't be rare. It can't be lucky. It's not basic though, so it takes on the tier. I'm going to copy that. Actually, I think I want to put it up here. Alright, I hear you. Let me open that up so we don't forget about it. That's going to be what? Structure, building, structure, down at the bottom. Update capacity. Number of crates goes up by 1, but we want to make that a little more complicated, huh? So, well, let's look at how this guy gets used. Find all references. Town storehouse, he's on this script. It's not you, it's not you. It's this times 100. So we want to make that different. We actually want to go ahead and not do number of crates. We want to do max storage equals 0 by default. And new storehouse max storage equals max storage if we're copying it. And we're actually going to calculate. No, we'll just return max storage. And whenever we want to update that, which is right here, we're actually going to look at the rarity, etc. And I will do that in just a moment here. Max storage will be updated directly, not via count, but an actual number. I need to take just a quick little break though. Scanner for herbs. Not a lot of bugs that need to be working on, so I can focus on some little things like that real quick. Mine, limestone, coal. Yeah, that, I mean, you should be able to, but that's kind of the whole point, is that those need to be town based. But I will fix crates here. Just give me like 5 minutes. I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. You're not far from what I'm planning to do there, John. Not far off at all. So we're gonna grab it. We're gonna get all the furnitures. We've now got an array of furnitures. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the furniture called F equals, we'll call it fern, equals furnitures at position I. If fern is a crate box, max storage equal plus equals base of 100. Yeah, we'll just go by rarity, huh? Rarity 100 times, let's do fern.rarity plus 1 times 50. See, but I like to make legendary worth a lot more. Let's make it a little bit more complicated than that. Let's see. We could give it a power if we wanted to. Say 100 as our base. Here are our rarities. Say we're at rarity 4. We want this to equal this times, let's see, this plus 1. Oh, God, I'm bad at math. Power, number, power, 4 to the power of, about number of, let's say, 40 to the power of that. Not what I meant, obviously. That should only be to the power of 1. Why is that? Shouldn't that only be 40? Am I stupid? Times 100 times power. So no, okay, this should be 1 to the power of 1. No? About 10. That'll get out of hand super quick, right? So then what if we make this 1 plus this divided by 10. It's 結構ズームしてるから。$750. Yeah, that's probably not. Yeah, I did want to do it. It was per resource for a while there. They're just numbers, though. If you let them get bigger and bigger and bigger, it doesn't actually take up any more computing space or anything like that. pretty good. You're saying just rarity times 1.5. Yeah, that's not bad either. That's easy to calculate. This would end up making weird numbers. It'd drive people crazy if I did a power like that. Math function max. So this is going to return the largest of two or more variables, and we're putting a 1 in there. So even if furniture rarity is 0, and this ends up being a 0, we'll get a 1, so it'll be 100 times 1 minimum. If it's rarity 1, it'll go up to 1.5, so that'll only be 150. Then we'll go up 300, 450, and 600. And then we could just do something silly like if furniture.rarity is equal to 4, which is legendary. Just oh, excuse me, kitty, sorry. Just give it an extra 150. So it'd go up to 750 like that. Instead of 600. I think that's fair. And that'll just update it directly. Moo. Right. That's how the math is right now. If it's 0, if it's common, it'll be 100. If it's uncommon, it'll be 150. If it's rare, it'll be 300. If it's elite, it'll be 450. Let's go ahead and just do if, else if. If it's elite, we'll give it a bonus 50. So that'll bump it up to 500 instead of 450. And then if it's legendary, it'll go all the way up to 750. Per crate. And then it would be nice if you could tell which crate was legendary or not just by looking at them, but that would be more work, not something to do right now. Let's give that a try, though. Let me finish this up real quick, too. So I'm going to make these destructible. If your art, you can probably one-shot them. But I think even just having the option to do that is important. Make sure if something's really in the way that there's some way to get rid of it. Even if it's a little more time consuming than, you know, better than nothing, right? Options are important, I think. How come everybody but this guy has nice colliders and... Oh, he does have an LED group. Anyway. Meow! What's the matter? Giddy? You bored? So I'm going to paste that same thing. Should be good. Stone. Toughness remaining will get rolled based on this and its location. No chance to be rare. Can't generate essences. Move these to the resources layer. And then we'll do the same for the big grassland rocks as well. I think this could be convex, couldn't it? Yeah. That's a little too big. The partial hull will be used, and that's just fine. Probably all of these. Maybe not. Yeah, that's no good. I do like it when it shows me, though. Not a big deal. Paste, save, back out, one more. Paste. Let's take a look at this guy. He might be a candidate. No, he's too complicated too. And then we'll make sure those are on the resources layer, so they're interactable. So I want to test big rocks and town storage, huh? Let's go back to creative. So currently, this is still doing this though, huh? You gotta pick this one up first and put it back down. I don't like that. Not terrible, but not what we expect. Woodworking, furniture, crate box. I'm gonna want, do I need a woodworking station in creative? I don't know. I do not. Okay. Can't create rarity, so that's a problem right there. That would be under our item templates, furniture, crate box, can now change rarity. Yes, cooldown potion, or recall potion, that's a good idea. Recall scroll, maybe? What ingredients does it use? It's the only question. Easy enough to make. Crafting. What was I looking at? Woodworking, furniture, crate box. I'm gonna make 2 legendary crate boxes. I'm gonna pick this one up first, and I'm gonna put them down. And I'm gonna put this guy down too. Should have 850 now. And I do. So that should be working as expected. Can do, can do. That's gonna be item detail UI as well as recipe detail UI. Item selected, all these extras down here. Armor, storage chest, slot count. If it's a crate box, where to put that? How about town data? Make a little method in here that actually does this for us. What do we want to pass into it? I want to go one by one, huh? I want to just give it the rarity. Public static int get storage. How about get create storage capacity? And we're going to feed in the rarity. Like this. And then we're going to call that here. Like this. And we're going to do that here as well. This is item details, so we want to look at the actual item itself. Item.rarity. Oops. Over here, we're going to just be looking at a possible thingy. More or less the same thing though. Storage chest. Put it under there. Did I copy that? I did. If a crate, list the storage capacity. Do I want to use... Yeah, I think I can. The actual, this is the temporary item we're just building. And did we call it storage capacity in the item details UI? What do we call it? Storage capacity. Okay. There is a town portal scroll, but it's not a recall scroll. Yeah, magical essence isn't a bad idea. What does the town portal use? And where is he? Consumables. Enchanting. Oh, he's one of my text-based guys, huh? He's the only text-based guy. I got a few of them. Paper too. Town portal. I guess I could just look at it right here. I probably don't have it unlocked. But I'm in creative, so I do. Supposedly, there he is. Paper and light. That's all he's using, huh? That's kind of boring. But 10 light too. That's quite a bit. We're probably gonna need ink. That's a good one. I wonder if I have octopus. I bought a pack of fish. Not loaded in here. Let's take a look at it though. That will be definitely one ink. That would be a great reason to go underwater. I don't think I'll make them run. No octopus. I'm sure I can find one for $5 or something though. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's why I added water breathing potions. I bought that fish pack and I bought this coral pack. So I'm gonna put a bunch of just random coral spawning all over the ocean floor. Just wanted to double check the woodworking furniture crate showing storage capacity properly there. And I wanted to look at whacking on a big rock. See if I can take it down. Should have between 450 and 550 to harvest. If I can find one, shouldn't be hard to spot. There's one. I don't have any tools. The beauty of creative. $10 octopus. So I can, in fact, and I'm way, I built a legendary, what was it, tier 10 hatchet, so easy to whack. There's 405, 500, there we go. 503 stone from that guy, and let's save and reload just to make sure that he fits into that system properly. Should though. Meow, what's the matter? Are you bored, kitty? Did your brother take your bed spot? Rock has correctly not responded. Meow, meow, meow. Hey. Let's see. I need to look at water globes real quick, huh? So that'll fix this. Let's look at water globes. What's going on there? That's not a bad idea. I mean, yeah. They're still going to roll to see if there's anything nearby. But, How about we just do onto le harvestable object. Let's add a can respawn, which is going to be true by default. And then if loaded stats is equal to 0, we're going to do a bunch of checks, otherwise we're going to destroy. So we can do that right at the beginning if Can respawn and right? Can respond. So if you can't respawn, it's gonna die again immediately. Otherwise, we're gonna move into the logic checks. Now I just mark those guys as unable to respawn, and they won't do it anymore. It's the beauty of building systems rather than hard coding everything. It's going to go ahead and add a true to all of those. And then I'm going to go into the big rocks. Where are they at? Going to go onto these guys and say cannot respawn. Good call on that, I think. And let's look at globes of water. You know, I might even own an octopus. I don't think I do. I own some pretty big packs, though. Over the years, I've bought more stuff than I can remember. I really hate the interface that they build with these. I do own an octopus. Look at that. Problem solved. There's even some fish in there, and frogs and crabs. Big shark, too. Wow. I didn't even see. I bought those so long ago, I forgot about them. What do we got in here, too? Some birdies. I don't think there's any waterbound creatures in this here, but... So there you go, I already have an octopus. Crabby, froggy, salamander, fishy, demon rat. Maybe I could make him. Snail. Salmon. These look like salmon. And where's the octopus? There he is. Big shark too. Shark will be fun. Yeah, why do I not have a cougar? We should probably just make it a big cat with like glowing green eyes that... Well, they won't be bad guys though. We'll make a cat god that you get quests from, maybe. Anyway. So... So globes of water are being weird, I hear. I got one. And can't put it in a storage chest. It does say it's in a thin shell though, so we should be able to do that. Could be just as easy as I didn't set up the item template right when I moved it into the item template system. Is it a resource? Or is it a consumable? Globe of water. Can be stored. It's a globe of water, but it's marked as a fluid. What if because it's not technically a fluid, it's in a thin shell, right? Surprised you didn't know that. It's a quote from Tommy Boy, if anybody didn't get that. We want this to be a consumable. And I think that'll take effect immediately. No, might want to reload. Consumable. Can be stored, can be stacked. I think it was just the fluid that was getting in the way there. We do want to add cows and... I mean, we've got them, but we want to make them domesticatable. Cows and goats and chickens and stuff, and then have that be a renewable source of food if you give them to a farmer, so that you're not necessarily, like breeding them and messing with them. But if you've got a couple chickens and you get them in a farming pen with a farmer in your town, they will then make use of them to produce more. I don't plan to make it like an actual slaughter system or anything, but just that, like, if you've got chickens, there's poultry being produced. Oh, and I didn't save all that stuff. I always do that. Woodworking station, lumber. I'm just making up random words to say. Crafting, smithing tools, sickle. Level 100 is a little overkill, but whatever. Probably won't give me one this time. Still got one. Alright, let's save right here. And there it goes. So that should be working now. Couldn't move it anywhere. Globes of water. Globes of water in a thin should now be transferable, storable as normal. Water should still not be. Thank you for the report. Did it move a little there? Yume is our girl, so she tends to not sleep there with the boys. But that's... The orange one is Tabi, which means journey in Japanese. The white one is Pipi, and the brown one there is Pearl. Which are kind of girly names, but what are you going to do? Yume is our black kitty. They're all rescues. Tabby I actually found in our garden. He was just an abandoned little baby hiding in the corner of my garden. Now he's a big happy kitty. Made it so that all giant, let's say large rocks are now harvestable for 450 to 550 stone. No chance to be rare nor respawn, so that at least there is that option available if they are in the way. For next patch. I always have to add that in there because people say, I just tried it, it didn't work. I think that is good. This is again animations we'll work on. I opened that one up twice. Duplication bug from John. Had a hammer. Had a shield. Thoughtfire staff in the other slot. Some point switching between them. Somehow... Unequip the staff, open the sockets, remove the enchants, try to put it back in the active combat slot. Didn't need the warhammer for the duplication to occur. I unequipped completely. Put the staff into the active slot, causing an exception. Maybe it's having problems with the enchants or something? The physics a little wonky on the alligators. Let's see. Craft, woodwork, weapon, thoughtfire staff. legendary. Let's do enchanting table. And whatever. Oh, looks like creative doesn't give you all the enchants. It's not a big deal. Doesn't really matter. We'll just put some of these in there, I guess. Turn off practice. Do some enchants. I'll put 4 of them in. And we'll put this here. Didn't get an error. It's got a little light source there. I should get some little particles going on that too, huh? What's the error you're getting, I'm wondering? Something's wrong with your staff. But what is it? Remove an enchant, then try to put it back in. Uh-huh. Now, I've got 2. Alright. So the initial one is player inventory equip item, player inventory 694. This is following the lines of toggle drag and drop, attempt to swap, and then it's going into check equipment. Null reference exception, so I guess it's just that the sets, no, we set it here, equals new, sets.add ie.enchant. So we're looking at this, and there's actually no enchant. For each item enchant, IE in item.enchantments. Oh, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. Because they can be null now. If, let's see, if IE... This is just an enum, right? Yeah, so it's the IE itself. If IE equals null, we want to just continue. Let's poke around and see who else makes use of those. This is container UI. For every slot, if it's a socket with enchantments, no, that's not it. That's fine. That's for sockets themselves, not socketed things. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Item, that stuff should all be good. Item 0, that's all fine. For each, if it's not null, I got a good check in there. If it's not null, got a good check in there. Looks like I just missed this one spot. That's sockets again. Player crafting. That's fine. If it's null, continue. That's the one I fixed now. If it's not null, for each item enchant in item enchants, this is get price, which we don't actually use right now, but let's go ahead and put it in here anyway. Not that this would ever, yeah, we'll leave it alone. We don't use this anymore. We would like to use that again in the future, but price database, other than that, it's all socket UI, which should all be good. That's where we actually wrote the original code, so this guy knows what he's doing. Pretty sure. If it's not null, we'll go into it, do all of that. If it's null, continue. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Okay, I think that should fix that. Let's recompile. I probably should have saved. I do that all the time. Spend time getting it set up so I can test it, and then I forget to save. Yeah, when you remove the enchant or a socket, it leaves that slot empty on purpose so that you can have them in the order you like, rather than try to just keep them all crunched into a ordered list, which most other stuff does. So when it tries to just go in there and assume that every slot in there must have something in it, and then you end up with those empty ones, it gets confused. So I gotta make all of this stuff again because I forgot to save. Let's get a level in here. Unlock intelligence. And put a couple of these on here. Whoops. Where'd it go? It didn't just add that to my enchanting table, did it? I just right-clicked on it. And how come this button is scaled all funky? What's going on here? I think it just added it to the table. Where am I at? That used to be a thing. Facility enchanting table. It's got an item. Yeah, it's got the two-handed magic weapon in it on my facility. That's another bug. Well, let's save everything this time. And I'll just make sure that let's craft a different one in case we run into that again. Let's do diviner staff, and I do need it to be socketable, more than one. So I'm going to put this here. I'll put this here and I'll move it around. I can't move it around. Take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. And should be fine now. I don't think you'll see that error anymore. Take it off. Open it. Take one off. Put it back on. Yeah. Believe that's going to be working as expected now. There was a bad line of code in there. Let's save. And the new problem is let's see if I can swap it. So I open this. I hit tab. Yeah, I can swap those because it's still... Oh no, it's swapping these. Okay, let's put one of these away. Let's put you away. So I've got a legendary... you can't really see it here. Got a legendary staff on my enchanting table. I'm trying to swap out. Do I need to hit F maybe? No. How did I do that? Tab. Might not actually want to swap, but it did still let me put it in there. Let's make another table. Try it again. F tab, right click, no. Tab, right click, no. How did I do that? Yeah, that should be fixed now. I did spot the code that was causing problems. There we go. I guess going straight to inventory would do that. Anyway, I know where that's happening. That's going to be under UI. And I think it's item slot. Inventory slot. Right click. Now, if the current linked facility does not equal null, and that's an actual facility, right? Yeah. Let's just, let's see. Linked facility slots. What should really be happening is an enchanting table should not have any slots. So this should just be an empty list. That shouldn't exist anymore, but that'll stop it from happening in the future. People that already have placed enchanting tables, they've already gone through this setup method once. They will have one slot still open in them. I would like to prevent anything from being able to go in there. Right click isn't going to be able to figure that out on its own, unfortunately. The swap method would be able to, but this guy can't, so I'm going to have to just add into here. If it's not null and client.playerInventory.linked facility does not equal facility type does not equal enchanting table. So even if they're old and they've got a slot in them still, enchanting tables shouldn't be allowed to accept anything. And the other method I would want to look at that on is here, where we do is interactable compatible. So now enchanting table is always going to be false, because there's nothing that should be allowed to be put onto enchanting tables anymore. That is outdated. And that should fix that. Thank you for the report, John. Fixed for next patch. General messages to from Malcare have send console, but now trying to attach player log file in case this helps. Refer to general messages to from Malcare. Not quite sure what that means. Somebody messaging me in Discord? We got a guy having an enchant problem here in Discord too, I want to look at. Somebody messaging me something though? I don't see what he's talking about. This is from the 5th. Okay, so that was a while ago. I didn't look at these last week. And he's talking about... Okay, yeah, this is... Strib's talking about terraforming after all, isn't it? This was the day that we talked about this quite a bit. And... I never did fix it, so let's take a peek. I mean, it's not incorrect. It's not a bug. It's just not giving out the message that we would prefer. So I think that's player terraforming. No, I think it's actually terraforming UI. And then let's say something like obstruction. Raise, lower, scan for obstructions. This area is obstructed. There's a debug in here somewhere. Console, terraforming obstruction, collider name. And for some reason it's hitting... Well, if it hits the player, it reports the player as the sky. That's not what we want. Why is it doing that? collider. Grabs all the colliders. Better check it out. I don't think sockets make that check yet. I kind of do want them to, but I don't think that I have programmed that in any way. This guy's 0, 0, and he's got a tier 0. Let's make tier 100. Oh yeah, I thought I made one. Can I do upgrades for free in, no I can't. Crafting, or creative. Should be able to, honestly. But I can just make a new one. Facilities, tier 100. Place. The Z fighting bothers me, I'm going to replace it. And tier 100 enchant, and tier 0. Where'd the enchant go? Something error there? Oh, I didn't click on it. Yeah, that works fine. Oh, look at that. It swapped back a question mark for that empty slot. Okay, that's another bug. That's no good. Let's see. I'll come back to you in a second. Left eye keeps tearing up from allergies. That too would be inventory slot. When we go into, I believe it's temp swap. The requesting swap is going to be inventory. No, that was, yeah. When we moved one onto a null slot. So requesting is going to be inventory. The slot that we're looking at, the actual script that we're on, is the staff itself. If item equals null, or, I mean, the item should be null. I can't peek at that. It should be resetting that, but it looks like it's not considering the item to actually be null. Let's do a debug log. Ma. My wife's one of those machine gun sneezers. Can't just sneeze once, has to sneeze like 5 times in a row. Her whole family does that, actually. I'll go ahead and trigger this. I'll go ahead and trigger that. And let's also trigger... Let's just turn these on as well while we're here. Shh. She says lunch is in 6 minutes. Hounding me. I'm going to go to lunch at noon today. I don't really have any food, though. I'll make something happen. Let's do if item does not equal null. I'm going to check out the item dot item. And I think this guy's null, but this guy's not going null is what's going on here. So let's do a 2, and then we'll do a space, oops, plus, and I'll do a 3 here. And let's take a peek at that. Let's go ahead and save everything that we've made here. And it should be smart enough to not reload these, but we don't want it generating them in the first place. So, yeah, it's been really nice sun yesterday and today, and it rained hard the day before that. So the plants are going nuts. And we live kind of out in the country. It's not like real country. I don't know what you'd call it. Rural. We're not rural. We're on the border between. You drive like 30 minutes northwest of here, and it's farmlands, and there's like farm rice fields and stuff all around us, and there's plum trees just in the plot next to us, and they're flowering like crazy right now. They're really pretty. They're lethal to cats though, so we can't bring them in here. Full of cyanide. It did reload those. That's unfortunate. Anyway, I want to take a peek at what the debug. There it goes. And it did not trigger what I was hoping it would. Well, let's see. For one thing, player data, load, inventory, should be marking those as null when it loads it. What's the error I'm getting here? It's having problem. It still thinks it's a socket. It's odd. It's an unenchanted socket somehow. So this is going to be null. I am all of a sudden really hungry. I talked about food for 10 seconds there. Now I'm really hungry. I'm going to make some notes here before I go to lunch so that I know what I'm doing here. So swapping a socket into a previously occupied, now empty socket slot generates a socket with no enchant. So it's not actually a null item and is resetting itself. It's actually loading a socket, but the enchant has been lost somehow. Probably in the socket UI. But the swap logic, remove socket, add socket, check for swapping. If we do need to swap, what are we doing? Current slot dot item dot enchantment dot target slot. The new enchant comes in fine, but if current item enchant count is greater than or equal to blah 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 blah. Lunchtime. If current slot dot item enchantments dot count is greater or equal to right, and the target slot does not equal null. Target slot should be null. Maybe does not equal null, or let's see. So it's not null. Don't need the parentheses. It's not null, and the enchant does not equal enchant database dot null. That would fix it, but still, why is it going null? Let's do a couple debugs. Debug log. Let's call this AA just for something to identify it with more clearly. This will be BB. And we'll only check this if the current slot is not null, does not equal null. And this is our if statement. Just to make sure that doesn't error and stop the whole flow of the code. So this will show us the slot that we're dragging it into. And if it's not null, it'll show us the enchant, which should be null. Oh no, that sounds like another bug. Should be able to build on yeah, they used to be separate systems. I merged them. Oh, you're talking about town buildings. Yeah, town buildings are not currently allowed in world encounters, which includes caves and floating islands. Well, it looks like I fixed it. Kind of forget what I did. I added this, that's right. But this BB isn't triggering. That's a little weird. Well, it should be working anyway with that extra check. I'll look deeper into it if I need to. Should be good though. Oh, did I already close it down? I did not. So I want to look at this. It's giving me a null for here. So yeah, it thinks it's a socket, but it broke that. You definitely want to be able to destroy those though. So let's do else. No, I think we should do this. That'll stop the error from showing up, but you'd still have these weird items. Do you still have some of these question mark items stuck in your inventory, John? Just always a bit of a bummer to add extra checks all over the place to make sure that stuff doesn't reload improperly, but can certainly do that quite easily. Just right here, have it look and see if it's a socket with no enchants. Just don't even bother reloading it. Otherwise, should be able to click on them now, so you can just toss them into a trash bin. Worst case. Oh, still can't even click on them. That's a bummer. 237. Didn't I just add? I have to do it again here, huh? Title and description. If I can select them and destroy them, and they shouldn't show up anymore, I'll consider that repaired. if I drop it, it is going to make a silly little item, unfortunately. But I should be able to now put these into a trash bin and just get rid of them. If you still have those in your inventory at all, anybody, and they should not be producing anymore. And I gotta go to lunch, getting hungry. Wife's giving me the side eye. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the tips. Thanks for the bug reports. And some of these were not yet pushed into beta, so inclusive of these new bug fixes today and some of the ones that I did last week that weren't actually pushed into beta. I'll push all of those into beta as well, merge them in there. And maybe see if I can't make a recall. Let me write that down. I'll put that in my notebook actually. Recall scroll. I also want an exit scroll. I've been meaning to make that for a long time. Recall plus exit scrolls. And see if I can get to that today. Before I get back to color, color's working good. It's now doing fog and sky color, which is the big things that I really wanted to get working. Still needs some love, but it's all working properly. Just need to get the numbers sorted out. And I would like to get, I think I'll just get some coral. I won't add any fish and stuff in yet. But I'll get some coral into the biome, the ocean biome at least. And then I want to get back to animations, fixing harvesting animations and stuff like that. So yeah. Lots to do this week. Be back in the morning. And yeah.